So I tend to get really fired up when we start talking about mental toughness. It has become one of those things that when I've seen individuals embrace mental toughness for their success in their lives, it lights their fire on a whole nother level. And we do a lot of work with individuals in the NFL, the PGA, NCAA athletes. And whenever we start our work with an athlete, we always talk about the first rule of sports psychology. Now you're going to see this will apply directly to you. This first rule of sports psychology is for an athlete to perform at their highest level. They cannot solely rely on their natural talents and abilities. They have to understand the mental toughness side of what it takes to achieve peak performance. I always like to say that your success is not just about changing your habits, it's about changing the way that you think. So that doesn't just apply to an athlete where, yes, you have natural talents, but you have to embrace these mental toughness tools. It applies to anybody in any business. Are your natural talents enough, or would it help you, would it benefit you to understand proven mental training tools that have been put to the test by individuals in the NFL, PGA, Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 financial firms all across the world? Would that benefit you to understand those mental training tools to achieve peak performance? And what we found in our work with individuals in financial services is that it makes a profound difference when we dive into these tools that can make a difference for them. One of my favorite mental training tools, so let me start with one of my favorites. It's called the power to reframe. The most successful individuals, they focus on solutions, not problems. I'm going to repeat that. The most successful individuals focus on solutions, not problems. Think back to a time for you in your business where you had faced challenge, you had faced adversity. How did you respond? Did you respond positively, or did you respond by focusing on the negative? Did that little voice on your shoulder have this long, drawn-out conversation with you about why you didn't want to move forward? I would encourage everybody to think about what's an action step for you the next time that you face adversity that would keep you on a path to success. That's what the power to reframe is all about. My mother actually battled a rare muscle disease called amyloidosis when I was a young boy at 7 years old. And I remember when the Boston Medical Center would contact my mom, and it would be her doctor, Dr. Martha Skinner, and Dr. Skinner would call, and phone calls would say, "Janet, you need to come right to Boston. You're going to go through painful procedures. You're going to have to wear jope stockings around your legs to control the swelling. You're going to have to wear a mask just to be able to go outside." And my mother would instantly hang up the phone, and she would pick it right back up. And her focus was on my brother and I. She was a single mom, divorced when I was 6 months old. And she would focus on, how can I create a positive memory? And she would call her boyfriend Alan, and she would say, "We're taking the boys on a family trip. If I'm going to Boston, we're all going to Boston." And I remember going candlestick bowling with my mom because she knew that we liked bowling. I remember going to Chinatown because she knew that we loved Chinese food. My mother was focused on the solution. The moment she hung up that phone and picked it back up, she was embodying for us our power to reframe in our lives. And if my mother was able to do that while amyloids were eating away at her muscles and taking her life, can't we in our business reframe and focus on making another dial? And I know that's tough stuff to hear. I'm not the only one with a story. I'm sure you have a story as well. But the reality is, where are you placing your focus? On a solution when you face adversity, or are you putting all your energy into the problem? So one of the things that we actually talk about in your mental toughness playbook is that power to reframe. It actually gives you the ability to walk through a guide, an example, to start to recalibrate your brain, to recalibrate your thinking, to focus on those solutions rather than problems in your life with success on your journey. Well, first off, I know I'm being asked questions about my success, and I really don't like talking about my success, but I'm going to talk about it because I want you to see how it applies for you in your life. So whenever I'm asked the question, what have I done to be successful? I really believe it comes down to having great mentors, a commitment to consistently wanting to learn as often as you can, reading great books, and having an unbelievable team, and understanding that there are things that I'm not that great at, and those are areas where I can bring people onto our team that are going to help so that we can thrive and make an impact together. So the big critical piece to success, when I look back on times when I've been knocked down, times when things were going well, we really have stuck to a process that drives success, but we've also stayed very, very cognizant of the fact that team is so important in driving success.